Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another episode of Behind Closed Doors. So this week we are talking about another topic that is affecting our community, and it is eating disorders. Okay, and with me I have my beautiful special guest, Taiba Khan. Assalamu alaikum, sis.
Walaikum assalam.
Now, thank you so much for joining me on this episode. It's a sensitive topic, and the reason that I reached out to you, not only because I know you, right, but you're actually now taking a beautiful approach to this, and you're sharing your journey on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
So I, of course, have, heard your story from firsthand, and that's why I knew that you'd be excellent to come on this topic. So in your own words, introduce yourself and, let's discuss how you embarked on this journey.
So, hi, my name's Taiba and I'm 26 now. I'm a teacher, and it all started when I was a teenager. When I was really young, I was diagnosed with juvenile arthritis, where I had to have steroid injections, and that's where it all started. The weight gain started from the steroid injections, and then it just kept getting worse, the weight gain. I never really realized it myself. It was more family members who would say that, oh, you've gained a lot of weight. And at first I would just ignore it, whatever, who cares? And then at one point it just got too much. Like when I was around, I think 16, 17, it just got too much for me, where people would always comment on my weight, wherever I would go, to a party, to even around friends. Like most of my friends were quite slim, and then I was the big one from all of them. So I did feel a bit left out sometimes. And then it just got too much to a point where I was like, okay, I need to do something about it. And then I started losing weight. I did do it the healthy way at first. Like I stopped, I ate less food. I did quite well first, I think. I wasn't obsessed with losing weight. I just cut down certain things that I probably should not have been eating. But I was okay at first. And then I decided to stop my medication. So I thought that was a big thing, was my medications. Having steroids obviously caused a lot of weight gain. So I stopped taking my steroids. But I think that was a good thing. I think if I continued my steroids, I probably would have got more ill. I haven't been on steroids for 10 years now, and my arthritis does flare up, but I've managed it quite well. But when it came to my eating, when I started losing weight, everyone would comment and say, oh my God, you look so nice, you've lost weight, wow, you look so much better now. So after so many years of hearing insults and negative comments, and then hearing something nice about myself for once, I did start getting really obsessed with losing weight. So I was thinking, okay, I can't go back now to what I was. I need to lose more weight now. And then it came to a point where I was just counting every single calorie, like every single thing I put in my mouth, I had to count the calories. And it just came to a point where I couldn't go out with my friends, because if I would go out, I would think, well, we might drink something, we might eat something. I can't eat that, I can't do that.
There was a point where you actually remember this crossover where, you said at one point it was a healthy mindset, right?
I think for up to like 3 months it was healthy, but I lost a stone, and I was still quite healthy weight then. I was around 8 stones, which was healthy for my height. And then after that, I just got really obsessed with losing weight, and looking at that number on the scale was the worst thing ever. Like if that number went up, that's it, my whole day would be ruined, and I would just cry myself to sleep. And I just can't, there's literally no words to say how you feel, because no one knew what I was going through. Instead, everyone just thought that, yeah, she looks really nice now and everything's fine for her and she's good. And then like my family, my dad was the one who started realizing I was losing a lot of weight. And my dad, he's amazing. My parents are amazing. Like they're so good, my family. But obviously it started concerning my dad. He goes, she's gone so skinny, what's wrong with her? And as an Asian, as a Pakistani, no one really talks about mental health. It's not, especially an eating disorder. I remember when I told my parents, there's a voice in my head telling me that I can't eat. My dad was like, she's crazy. Like, he didn't understand it, and he just assumed that there's other reasons I had lost weight, and he just didn't understand it. My mom was a bit more understanding, and so was my sister. My sister was really good, and they helped me a lot, where they would sit with me and they would talk to me, and they did help me a lot. For a year, I think I started to get a bit better, but then it was in 2016. Yeah, 2016 was, that year was so bad for me, and I completely stopped eating. Like, I just stopped. I stopped eating. I wasn't eating anything anymore.
And when you say stopped eating, you know, what were you surviving on? Like, you know, drinking water, drinking tea,
water, green tea. But even then, I stopped with the green tea and the water. It's probably like 3 or 4 grapes in a day, or a sweet. In a whole day, I just wasn't eating. And then I remember I got the job in Kuwait. So I got a job in Kuwait as a teacher. And honestly, I think that saved my life. If I didn't move to Kuwait, if I didn't get away from the UK, I probably would have ended up killing myself, because I wasn't getting better. Just everything around me was depressing me. Nothing was really making me happy. And even though I had such a good life, like I had such good parents, a really good family around me, good friends, everything was fine. I think it came to a point where it wasn't about weight anymore with me. It was more like, if I was upset about something and I couldn't control something, I would take it out on my eating, and then I would stop eating. So when I did move to Kuwait, I did get better. I stopped starving myself. That was one thing. I stopped purging, but not completely. Like, you can't just get rid of an eating disorder just like that. Not everything goes away. But I did get better. For 3 months, I think everything was new to me, and I started eating a bit more. I felt a bit happy, but then after 3 months, everything just came back again, but not to the point where I was starving myself and I wanted to keep losing more and more weight.
At what point because obviously, you know, at what point did you recognize it was an illness? Was it your family and the people around you that highlighted, or was it yourself?
It was myself. Like, I could just tell myself, like, this isn't normal. The way I eat isn't normal. The way I'm scared of food is not normal. Like, when my mom would give me food, I would hide it in my pocket and pretend I've eaten it. Or when they would go out, I would make a plate for myself, throw the food in the bin, and then keep the plate next to me. So when they come home, they'd think I've eaten. So it was me. I knew that I just couldn't do it, because I would go to sleep crying. Like, I remember once my mum brought cherry bagels home, and I really wanted to eat one. But when I looked at the calories, I thought, I can't eat it. And I so badly wanted to eat that cherry bagel. And then I just went in my room and I literally just cried myself to sleep. And I thought, it's okay, I'll just go sleep. And then in the morning, it'll be another day.
Honestly, I don't know how you could resist a bakewell. So you didn't eat the bakewell. Oh, okay. So, I mean, you know, obviously I had the pleasure of meeting you, you as my daughter's teacher. And of course, it was very evident that you were slim, you know, and it was hard because it was an awkward moment, because it was like, some people are just really skinny, you know what I mean? Like, they're just, so it's a blessing to know that in a country such as Kuwait, that you did actually start to move forward. So, but how did that journey in getting better happen? So what changed? Like, I mean, if someone's watching this, they're going through an eating disorder, or they know someone going through an eating disorder, like, you know, what is that process?
I don't know. For me, I just felt like there were so many things that depressed me in the UK. Obviously don't move to a different country. It doesn't help everyone. But it didn't help me completely. It did help me move forward with my recovery. Maybe because, to be fair, I had never worked before, so moving to Kuwait was my first ever job, and I did start getting better, so I wasn't restricting anymore. I was restricting, but not how I was restricting before, where I wasn't eating. I did start to eat again, but I made sure I stayed at a specific weight. So I would make sure that I wouldn't eat anything that would make my weight more than what it was, what I was comfortable with. And the purging didn't stop. There were days where I would probably order a whole load of food in my apartment and I would still purge if I had a bad day at work. It would still happen. It never stopped. I just was getting better. Like the purges went every day. First, I was purging maybe 5 to 6 times in a day. And when I moved to Kuwait, it wasn't like that. I knew I had to stop myself. I knew I couldn't do this because I don't know. You have to be able to tell yourself. It's all with yourself. Like loads of other people might think it comes from someone else helping you, but no one could have helped me. I'm literally the only person who could have helped myself. No one in this world could tell me you need to eat and you need to get better. They could give me statistics of what would happen to me. They could say you'd die tomorrow and I wouldn't care. If I didn't tell myself that I need to do something to make myself better, I wouldn't have got better. Like I knew that I came to a point where I couldn't even make myself sick anymore. That's how much I was making myself sick. I came to the point where I used to cough up blood because that's how much I was making myself sick. Like I would be crying my eyes out, but I would still try to make myself sick because I couldn't have that food in my stomach. And I knew that was wrong because after it, I would just feel so horrible and I'd have such a not nice feeling. And I was like, why am I putting myself through that? For what? Why am I making myself feel like that? There's literally no reason for me to do this to myself. For what? For other people to say, oh wow, you look nice. No, there's no need for me to do that anymore. So it was me myself telling myself I need to get better. I need to stop making myself sick every day. I need to stop doing this to my body. I just need to stop it. And then it's still hard. I'm not saying that I still don't purge. I do. I get my days, but it's not how it used to be. It's probably once in a week or maybe once in a month. I'm not completely better, but I'm much better from what I was 4 years ago. 4 years ago, I was really ill and I couldn't eat at all.
So you've changed, you've gone in a really different direction now, because of course now, and mashallah, you got that swag, girl. Every time we was in Kuwait, you know, you got like the right stuff on. I was like, oh, well, we're going out with Taiba. Oh, I better make sure my makeup is on point, you know. So it's a beautiful thing because now, mashallah, you know, your profile, you're posting pictures where you're looking gorgeous in gorgeous settings. And has anyone reached out to you because you've been sharing your journey now on, you know, social media or whatnot?
I've had a few people who worked with me and who knew me, and they were quite shocked. They go, we never knew you were going through this. I go, that's the thing, no one knows what you're going through. Like when like you said, if you looked at my original Instagram, you'd think, oh wow, everything's perfect. She's a good job in Kuwait, she enjoys herself, and no one would actually think that, oh, behind all that, after all those fancy dinners and everything, she goes back home and makes herself sick and cries herself to sleep and weighs herself, and if that weight isn't what it should be, then she's going to have a massive meltdown later on.
I can't thank you enough for, you know, sharing your journey. And I think anyone watching this, we're all going to make dua, inshallah, because, you know, you shared quite openly that it's an awareness that you have to constantly struggle with. And I think everyone has their own thing that they have to struggle with, you know. So, but the good news is, and I see you glowing, you got married now, mashallah, mabruk. So have things changed? Has that helped? Is hubby like piling on your plate? Like, come on now, girl.
Yeah, he definitely helps. Like he knows I've never. So I think it was last week. He knows I've never eaten a burger in so many years without making myself sick. So he took me out last week and he goes, no, you're gonna try, even if it's not all of it. I want you to eat it. So I did eat it, but then obviously afterwards it was the whole roller coaster of me crying and screaming and going crazy. And he goes, and he was so good, like alhamdulillah, he's really calm. And he goes, and he just drove me around for ages. And he kept tired, he just looked at me and he goes, "You're not allowed to go to the toilet." And then I was just going, like, I was really manic. And then I ended up buying a whole lot of clothes that I didn't need because I just had to do something. And then I was really annoyed about that because I didn't need them. But he was really good, like he's really supportive. Inshallah, he stays like that. But he has known, like the few years that he's known me, he has known that I have an eating disorder, and he has tried his best to be supportive. But I think for Asian men, it's just really hard. It's really difficult for them to understand. Generally in Asians, I think it's really hard for them to understand. They're just like, just to eat. It's not hard. It's not as simple as just to eat or just smile. Everything's better. But he's been good. He's been really good.
And do you not see that there is a really big culture now? There's a light culture. And I think it's putting such a big pressure on our younger generation to, you know, have the big booty, you know, to just look so voluptuous. And, you know, the pressure is on, you know.
Definitely. That doesn't help at all. Doesn't help at all. Especially Instagram, when you look at Instagram and you see everyone's pictures. I don't know. I feel like maybe that was a reason why I made an Instagram, just to show that just because people post nice pictures about their life doesn't mean everything's perfect.
Yeah.
And just because you can look nice in a picture doesn't mean behind closed doors it's the same, because it's really not. It's completely different.
And it's so powerful. I think because of that intention alone, you will be successful, inshallah. So, but thank you so much for doing this. And of course, I will add your Insta in our description. So if anyone wants to be in touch or comment, I will definitely be forwarding your info. So, jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Bye.